don't think this will be a very long meeting today. Okay, I'd like to call to order our meeting. We have quorum. We have a new member joining us.
Yay.
You've been a member for a little while now. This is our first meeting. So welcome, Erica.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Old business, general updates. Do we have anything that staff would like to give us any updates on?
I think we're still working on the 501c3 form.
Okay.
I'll get back to you guys on that. I haven't had an update from Julie with regard to the one stumbling point that I think we had in the process.
Okay.
But I can get with her and get back to you guys.
Okay. What is the general timeline and any kind of action steps that are left? Is there anything on our end that's left?
I think the biggest concern was when they were trying to set it up, they needed to associate it with someone for whatever reason and needed someone's social security number. I think that's been bantered around, but I don't think that has been resolved at this point.
Got an answer on that yet.
Okay.
So, but I'll double check with Julie again. I think the last time I asked her, she's still waiting on legal to get back to us.
Okay. That's interesting. I wasn't aware it had to be connected to a personal social security number.
Yeah, Wayne was a little freaked out about that too. It's like, why do you need? I'm not giving you my social security number.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Huh.
Okay. So we're just holding on that. Do we
Basically.
all have an anticipated? Do we think we'll get it this year, this calendar year? Who knows? Okay.
We can also
As long
reach
as
out
we're all on
to
the
them and see
same.
if there's any updates as well.
In general, I mean, just being associated with other 501c3s, I think it's a months-long process once it's actually
After it's
even.
been filed. Okay.
So,
I do believe some components have been filed.
oh, good.
I can't remember if it was state or federal, but I think they at least started one of those processes at this point.
I thought the federal one had been started because that was a simpler, we needed less, ironically, perhaps, for it.
Yeah, we can reach out to Ryan Wagoner and see if he can give us some updates as well.
Yeah, I'd be curious what our status is there. And really largely, I think, and I know the timeline is probably somewhat looking through a crystal ball, but timeline is associated with how quickly we want to shape other things that may fall into place when we have that
In place.
right.
Yeah.
You guys have any other thoughts or questions about that?
No.
Okay. Any other updates? I have personally none.
From a treasurer standpoint, those Brightview invoices were paid and sent out, and then I also confirmed with the rep too as well that those were sent.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. And Amanda has been officially added to the bank account, so she is officially treasurer. Appreciate that.
Do we review financials? I'm sorry, just because I'm new. Do we review
Yes.
financials, or is this part of like a report that comes from the town as part of this committee?
We have not historically gone through a report because our financials don't change all that much month to month when we're meeting traditionally. However, that may be something we'd want to explore as we go forward if it's important.
Well, as lots are developed in Creekside, they'll start paying CAM charges
Yeah.
and then we'll have different amounts coming into our
Yeah.
town, I guess, yeah.
So I do think that would be a good, now that there's real movement at Creekside, a good thing for us to maybe once a month.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad you're on the.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a weird couple of years with the pandemic, and so I feel like we're now in that. This is a great time to join because we're in that kind of 2.0 perhaps of what the CDC can be and what we'll do. Yeah, hopefully things will get a little bit more back to normal. Anything else? Anyone's purview? Patricia was able to join. I understand Eric, you were there too for the
Nicholson.
Nicholson orthodontics.
Groundbreaking, yeah.
Yep.
They had a fair turnout and he was just really excited to see somebody from our group there.
Which I said this before the meeting, but really appreciate you going and thinking of that. I think that in the future, that's made me think that when we have.
It would be nice to do that.
It would be nice to have them, kind of queue up, please let us know what it is. We'd like to have somebody attend, because I agree that's a good opportunity. That would be a nice thing for us to do.
And we could work with the Chamber of Commerce too as well, because they would probably do the ribbon cutting and work with them to let us know as well.
Yeah, that would be a good touch point.
Yeah, that one I just knew because I got an invitation to it as an email, but traditionally
Right.
don't
Yeah,
really,
listen
that
on
doesn't really happen, so.
It's a good. Okay. Any other old business items? New business, microloan program. What do we know? What do we know about the microloan program? Amanda, have you been brought up to speed on that? Are you in on the?
I looked at it a little bit
Okay.
last night, and so it looks like it's through the EDC and then State Bank of Liston. So I didn't see specifics of underwriting and things like that.
Right. Yeah, and we have, at least my kind of historical knowledge and Spur as well, is that we, instead of jump in with everyone, we have kind of let that sit on the back burner until we've understood a greater timeline with all of our filings. So it's sitting there. I don't think anyone's been moving it forward with any intention, as far as I'm aware. It sounds like, unless there's things that maybe you're aware of that we may want to move forward with your expertise with review, I think it's okay to sit there, but I'd kind of be curious.
I think I need more details. on
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I was trying to find those details and I
Couldn't find them.
I'm sorry, is it the Boone EDC or the Zionsville EDC?
I think it's the.
So are you talking about the microloan program? I believe the RDC allocated those funds.
Yeah.
The EDC typically would issue bonds for TIF districts. The RDC was likely the one who distributed the funds to the CDC for the microloan program.
But we haven't done any of them yet, have we? I mean,
No.
You have,
all of the grants have not been in the form of the microloan program, have they? I thought they came out of the funds that were already there for the RBC to distribute through the CDC. I don't think that there was any
I don't think we've distributed any money from the microloan program.
Right,
My understanding
yeah.
was that money was allocated, it was put into the fund, and it has not been utilized. I think it came to the forefront because finance and records started noticing that they were charging a fee, or being charged a fee from State Bank of Liston, because they were holding money, but nothing was going in, nothing was going out. So it was more of a service retention fee. I don't know. It's like a couple bucks.
I do know after talking to one of our financial advisors, that's Cindy Poor, if you've worked with her at all. You did issue one loan at one point. I can get more details at some point, but then that business fell through and I don't know if they ever paid that back. So you may have, I don't know if you've seen the balance of the micro loan yet, but I think I think it was distributed at 200,000 and I believe it's sitting at, I think she said 185 or something like that, because that business never paid it back. And we might need to do some more research on how we can recoup those funds from that business if they don't exist, how that would work.
Yeah, I don't remember. So is that then, it sounds like it was in the amount of 15,000 was distributed?
That's what I believe she said. It's been a week or two since I've talked to her, but I can double back on that and see if I can get a little more information on what business that was, when it happened. And things like that.
Yeah. I
What's
think
the
anything we
intent,
could bring
what's the
up.
intent of the microloan program?
So
I'm not
they-
familiar with it.
As my, and jump in from a from anyone's perspective. So it was originated, this kind of was what rolled into the 501c3, so we could fund for it. So in not just distributing grants, but also kind of a way to kind of get revenue back without having to just distribute grants while still promoting the mission of CDC. So giving us another vehicle to, I guess, financial vehicle in which to help further our mission. So it sat there for a while. I don't even know the date of when the RDC originally
2011.
established it.
August 22nd, 2011.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
Well, that was 2011.
That's the resolution I have. So this was the establishment of the small business microloan program.
That may have not been the establishment of the account, but just the intent of the program itself, perhaps.
Potentially,
That'd be,
I just don't recall ever issuing anything through the microloan program through the CDC that we were involved in.
yeah, I don't
You guys
either.
did the grants during
Right.
We did the
COVID, right?
grants.
But that's
That was never,
Mhm.
there were never any repayment. That was just grants.
And we did grants to other companies that
Right,
have
right.
come before us for different things,
Mhm.
but it's never been through the microloan program, as far as
No,
I understood it.
we've never had any repayment terms or.
Mm-mm.
But we have, I believe we kind of adopted it early on in our existence from RDC, and we've known it's been sitting on a shelf, and it's been an idea that we wanted to be able to get out. But then I believe right before we were about to kind of roll it out, the pandemic hit, before we were about to get focus on it, so we completely shifted how we were utilizing our funds. So
I'd
yeah.
like to see like more underwriting details so that I would know, and then I could advise as to how that would
Yeah.
be best utilized.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I couldn't find.
I can see if I can forward you these documents, and then you can review them. Well, I can forward it to all of you and see if that helps at all. And I'll double check that these are indeed the correct resolutions that are associated with this program.
Okay, and do we have minutes available from when this resolution was passed through RDC or?
I can find them. I can't
Okay.
guarantee that we have minutes from that long ago.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I think this will be a good dive into the history of that before we know how to best proceed forward with it. I guess to zoom high level, what do we think about the concept of the microloan? You know, if our mission is to improve the betterment of Zionsville, so we do that just through grants. Historically, RDC's given us that money, and now we've also been given this other path. How do we feel about that structurally? Are there any questions, concerns, other opportunities? And I know we're exploring fundraising as another income source. We've been only relying on RDC so far.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a nice option to offer, but I feel like too, once we get it rolling, we need to make it known that it is available. I feel like sometimes business owners don't even know what they have available to them. It's not promoted.
And is it just, I mean, maybe we'll find this out, but is it just limited to businesses? Or would entities like Sullivan Munts, say, be able to apply for it?
Not sure.
Well, so generally, a microloan would be paid back.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you could, like with the Sullivan Munts.
Like nonprofits?
What they were utilizing it for, just with the caveat that it would have to be paid back. And that's where underwriting guidelines come into play.
Sure.
Right. Like I'm
Why you
really
want to
leaning
dig
on
into
that,
that?
especially if we've had one where the business dissolved and didn't pay that back. You know, what was the original underwriting guidelines?
And can we claim that anywhere?
Do you know how long ago that was?
Unfortunately, but this does lay out criteria on how much should be distributed. It gives limitations and various things. So this should be helpful to give some guidance.
Okay.
But it will also probably be important to determine, all right, when do we give microloans out versus when do we give grant money out?
Yeah.
Where is that division line? And if you do start getting additional funding, that you can utilize. How are you prioritizing who should apply for what program? And that's
Right.
something that should
Yes.
start be thinking about.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think this will, in a healthy way, open a can of worms and to really pushing us to clarify
Right.
who gets a grant, who gets a microloan, like what will our distinction be in that? We have nothing in our bylaws, at this moment that kind of govern that or would give us direction on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've just been doing it on a case by case basis as far as how much we are granting people and
Mhm.
their needs and all that. There hasn't been any, I mean, I think we've had that discussion before, like, so that we stay consistent and, with what the grants that we give people.
Right.
It's always kind of been subjective, I guess.
Yeah, and in some ways, we could create. So with the grants, we have, for example, what was our most
Tipsy Mermaid.
Tipsy Mermaid? We looked at the tax revenue information and kind of like the ROI time periods as a way of how long until we would recoup, and then when would we actually get a net positive, we being the city of towns in general. So I wonder if we can create pull some guidelines or principles from some structure like that we could then apply to a microloan so that they feel different companies could benefit from different companies or entities could benefit from either a grant or a microloan in different ways, but maybe the net for the town itself in the end has similar guideposts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we might want to discuss how we actually would let people know about that.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So kind of I'm gonna make a note here about getting clarity around our structure and intent, and thanks for mentioning that, Zach. Of grant versus microloan.
Who's eligible for each.
Eligibility, and even I feel like we have an opportunity to further clarify in the application process what is attractive to us about grants and microloans. I mean, we've kind of conversationally given applicants feedback on the fact that they don't have to provide kind of tax ROI anticipated information, but that's always really helpful to us. So I feel like if we could then we could create some consistency in our own and clarity. And then when we go out and sort of market this a little bit better, we come up and know what we're looking for.
You mentioned fundraising. Are we just waiting until everything is done, or should we start planning that ahead of time? Well, I guess it's difficult when we really don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the item. If we have 3 big things we're moving forward, with the exception of any of us applicants that come in the meantime, I think that would be our third kind of critical path step. Number 1 being the things we already have in line, clarity and structure and intent of the grants versus microloans, and what are our kind of defensible rules that we like. So of course we want to be as transparent and consistent as possible.
And can we understand the fees too as well? And if there are fees, then maybe we look at an RFP opportunity for someone that doesn't have fees, because they exist.
I also think I answered my own question about the nonprofits, because I had forgotten about the actual community enrichment grants that we do for the town. And when you were talking about promoting, obviously they do a great job of that. And so that would be something that obviously a nonprofit, sorry, I'm new, just excuse me.
New questions are great, because oftentimes,
But then having a similar type outreach, I think would be great. And
Yes.
even maybe, I don't know how it would be set up, but mimicking their structure a little bit, maybe not biannually, but quarterly or something that's not, I don't know. I guess these are things to think about when you're talking about structure, right? Or timelines and
Right,
requirements and that sort of thing.
right, yeah. Right, so I think that is our kind of number 2 component after if we can expedite, make that maybe our main focus for this next couple months here to get clarity around the structure intent, all this. As we learn a little bit more about the history of the microloan and its parameters for us. And then secondarily, and this, we can sort of start to build this concurrently, is the marketing outreach program. Do you know somebody, I don't know who is involved with the community enrichment grant?
It's through the town, right? There's a committee that the town, who's on it. I think Wendy Schupperman's on it and,
Miranda Crane.
I think there are 5 members.
Okay. Because that is a nice precedent for, I mean, I've always been aware of it, and we see it out and about. Can one of us who knows them kind of reach out, or are we already aware of their kind of campaign cadence, outreach cadence and prices even maybe?
Reach out.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful, because we could use that as just an early kind of case study precedent to hold.
Well, and also to know what their guidelines are and as far as, so we don't overlap or so that we offer something different or to understand what they.
It's
are already
the
offering.
application or it's on the town's page and
Okay.
it talks about like what all that you need and there's some,
Okay.
like we were talking about like some financial things, some budgetary things and
I've never looked through that. That would be interesting to,
And even as we consider a business's entire user experience with the town of Zionsville, if we have applications to different grants that aren't so wildly disparate and they have somewhat of a consistent
right.
questioning, so, so we're ZCDC, I apologize. We are ZCDC.
we probably changed that in 2022, right?
We
Or
should
2020 also.
We sure did. I kept having CDC meetings in my calendar. Who were like, "Now, talk to me about that." I lost my train of thought, but I think that kind of that secondary, being prepared as soon as we have clarity on number 1, moving to number 2, and being mindful of the whole user experience of our businesses existing or those that we want to bring into town. And then the third component would be fundraising. So I think if we get our focus on 1 and 2, then the fundraising, not knowing our timeline for when we can do that, and the effort that will take and the right path there, I think will be interesting. I was thinking on this week, and this is just thinking about like what are the not pet projects, but projects for Zionsville that would help kind of fulfill our mission that are not maybe related to individual applicants at this moment. I was curious, this is just Kara, not President Kara asking this question. What are, the medians as you come in along Creekside? Feels like that's a real opportunity to start setting the stage to a welcome to Zionsville. There's a lot of town precedents where you start to get that, and there's a lot of other entry points in Zionsville that could do something like that. Is that, whose purview would that be in? Is that an opportunity? I was thinking that's an opportunity for, there's a lot of adopted median.
Right.
Are you talking about 106th Street?
Yes. Right in front of
Mm-hmm.
Creekside, and it could help create kind of a continuity into the downtown, a different, we don't want the hanging baskets and whatnot, but if there was sort of a experience that felt that it joined it, I thought that could be an interesting fundraising opportunity.
Yeah, that could potentially be an opportunity to look into. That street would be managed by DPW currently, Department of Public Works.
Okay.
So that's something we could start a conversation with them. I'm not sure what they'd be open to or what opportunities are there, but that's at least something we could get working on.
Okay. I think that would be, this was one that's in my mind as far as fundraising opportunities that somebody, a business or somebody might get excited about. Knowing that there's many that we could really explore. This was just one I wanted to throw dirt at.
No, it's a good idea, because I mean, you're always hearing about, as people drive into Zionsville, what do you want them to see?
Yes.
So we've gotten rid of the PNC building, but
Yeah.
it's still, where does it start? Does it really start downtown, or does it start where
Right.
Lions Park is?
Right.
But
Exactly.
some, signage would definitely
Yeah.
be
think it's
nice, or
important.
things like that.
To think of entry points like 106th Street, but not forgetting Michigan
Exactly.
Road as
Yeah.
well. Like
That's
it's a very forgotten about corridor. I feel like a broken record at this point, because I've said that a lot this week. But it is very true that you have to think about all of those extra entry points and not just the village.
Right.
Where does wayfinding fall in? Is that in our purview, or is that in a different?
It is in a different purview. Staff.
Wayfinding.
Oh, boy, what now? Sorry.
The towns and, all the wayfinding entry points in Zionsville. I know there was a study. Whose purview is that in exactly?
Moving purview.
Who's in charge of making the signs, deciding where the signs go and putting them up?
Okay, so the wayfinding plan, I think it is on the 1 yard line as far as the study and the signs themselves, locations, et cetera. All that's kind of already been baked. We are, the implementation phase has not been funded yet,
Okay.
to my knowledge. So we have all the locations, all the marketing, graphics, et cetera. We have all the measurements, all the basically rough costs right now as far as to implement and put in all the said signs. But that, like I said, the implementation phase of it has not been RFQ'd yet, or vetted through town council.
As far as you're aware, I mean, we can obviously see the clear median opportunity on 106, but there's definitely others. Do you, knowing the locations of the wayfinding plan, do you see other opportunities that are outside the scope of the actual? I'm sure there's, some.
Or opportunities of how? Like adding additional signage or wayfinding onto it, or?
I just think we would want it to be a cohesive element. Like if we somehow push forward this adopt a median as a fundraising component, and then the signage was actually placed 2 medians in front of where we started, or placed 4 medians back. I mean, something that kind of joins these ideas together. Maybe my question is, could we see a
Where they are.
plan of where they will be?
Yeah.
And then maybe we can think.
Sure, I can,
Okay.
I think we've got a presentation, and the final documentation should be going to town council, but I'll see if I can scare it up for you guys.
Thank you.
So along the lines of adopt a median for the fundraiser, is there anything going in the roundabout at like Marysville Road?
That's a
Because
great
it's
question.
got grass in it right now, and that's an opportunity
That's a good
too.
question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna have another roundabout on Oak as well, and 800 in Kissel.
Mhm.
And if there's nothing going inside of that as well, that's another roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Mhm.
Is that, or is there any scope or planned scope or any dollars earmarked toward the landscape of the interior of those roundabouts?
Again, that's probably DDW. We can
Okay.
reach out and see what they have planned thus far.
Okay,
And see if we can get some schematic drawings to at least see what's going in.
okay. Yeah, because if we could be a partner to help
Mhm.
drive any sort of fundraising to get those completed, I think that could be a good avenue. So maybe a question for this team, then I know we're gonna get some of the wayfinding information, perhaps some DPW information. If there are other, even though fundraising is third on our list, if we can kind of percolate on the ideas and options
Mhm.
of where we could, where we may want to spend those dollars or advocate for raising those dollars, I think would be good for us to keep going in the back of our minds. So let me think, next steps here. I want to put some thought into the item number 1, the kind of structure and intent, clarity of grant v microloan situation. I mean, I understand you're going to dig into the underwriting, so we understand what parameters. So I will kind of sketch maybe some things up and email out or whatever the right thing is, just so that we all, I think there's a lot of, apart from just the month to month, there may be some touch points along the way to make sure we're moving these things forward. And then can get kind of comments and iterations and questions back from this group. Marketing outreach and research on that component, I guess. I don't remember who said they were reaching out to the enrichment. You're also, okay. Enrichment grant. I think that we also need to take a look at our website and both our applications as they're listed on the website, as well as the precedent for the community enrichment grant. And third, no action steps, just mental action step is the fundraising opportunities that we see. Any questions, any scope that we feel like maybe we're missing to move forward or need to reprioritize in any way?
I'm the RDC representative on this, so I might check in with the RDC and see if they have any, information or
Great.
wishes that we could take into consideration.
Please do. Yes. So do you attend RDC meetings ever?
I watch them,
Okay.
but I don't usually go in person.
I think that was something that, apart from our pandemic kind of refocused months there, I think that was something that we were looking to kind of strengthen and codify our communication and understanding of RDC's goals, just so we're not pushing things along. I know that I was able to attend and speak on behalf of our, it was the Tipsy Mermaid applicant, to kind of give some more information on that. And I think that was helpful, again, with just improving our touch points to both our applicants all the way through, from where they intersect with us, where what we do intersects with RDC and their approval, and then all the way through the end of construction.
Yeah, so we have a counselor that actually served on the microloan committee way back, and it was administered first through the Boone EDC.
It was.
They currently have a microloan program.
So I think we have to understand that.
Yeah.
Where that's truly coming from. So yeah, happy to research that.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, that is new business. Anything else, other business?
Not that I can think of on our end.
Okay. Our next meeting is Friday, September 16th at 8:30. I know we missed Erica today. One of our Ericas. Okay, if nothing else, we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.